Hello, everyone. How we doing? Let's get rolling here. Welcome to the Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, I came across a very interesting article in the Wall Street Journal called "What Your Friends Can Teach You About Money," and it's basically millennials and Gen Z are turning to peers instead of professionals for financial advice. They don't trust banks, and they are tired of information overload. So I want to just share I want to share this article here with everybody here for a minute. So I found this article to be very fascinating because so the article starts off talking about an individual who's kind of having a conversation with their parent and basically saying, kind of, Dad, you made money in real estate. Now I've gotten to the point where it's like, where in other words, real estate values have gotten to the point now where it's like it's very difficult for me to kind of begin investing in real estate and then build net worth through real estate the way that you did. Um, Fair enough. I mean, I think that's a fair statement for the moment. It goes on to basically say that, kind of the Gen Z and the millennials, I think the millennials in particular are kind of are reeling from a couple of recessions so far in their early life. I mean, obviously they kind of started to come of age during the Great Recession, and then obviously living through the COVID pandemic and all the issues that went along with that. So it's kind of like been like the last 15 years, and particularly with the low interest rate environment, has really been a whammy on the millennial generation, and now the Gen Zs, who are basically have come of age, of starting to graduate from college the last few years, are just getting into the workforce now, but have been teenagers for the last 4, 5, 6 years. Or I should say young college kids the last 4, 5, 6 years, probably, going back about 8 years now for, high school and college and all that. But as I scroll down here, I just want over, I should say, take a step back for a second. So overall, they think that their finances are doing okay. They're not doing terrible. They just don't see a lot of the wealth building opportunities in front of them at the moment. Again, kind of fair enough. So, but I wanted to show everybody this chart here. And for the podcast audience, we're basically looking at a little chart that says confidence in banks by age group. And on here, it says that 18 to 34-year-old demographic, almost 30% of them have basically very little to no confidence in banks. The majority have some confidence, and a little bit at the top, probably about the top 20%, have a great deal of confidence, or quite a lot. And that 35 to 54-year-old range, not much different, just a tiny little bit different. And in 55 plus, probably about 25% of the people have little to no confidence. I can sympathize. I can really understand where they're coming from. I mean, I think that banks in a very real way over the last 15 years have let customers down, have let people down, and how the things have unfolded. And that gets into very real, very kind of deep conversation here. But I think what concerned me about this article, though, was how they talk about how they're going to their they're going in, they're talking to their friends, and they're not talking to financial professionals and getting financial advice from your probably typical financial advisors, lawyers, attorneys, accountants, what have you, bankers, what have you. That, I think, over time is a big problem. I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with asking your friends, who are probably dealing with a lot of the same similar issues that you are. But I would like to point out some of the things that have happened with the millennials and Gen Z. It's like, oh, let's jump onto the Robinhood platform. And it's funny because this article specifically mentions, oh, well, we're happy to go kind of trade on the Robinhood platform. It's like, all right, let's go jump into Robinhood and let's go buy the stunk stocks. Let's go buy the AMC and let's get into that. And obviously that didn't, because everybody's making a boatload of money in that didn't work out well. Then you had everybody jumping into crypto. Oh, hey, I'm on FTX and I'm buying this and I'm buying that and I'm buying Dogecoin and Ethereum and everything. And that hasn't worked out so well for most of the people that invested in those things. So And again, I think that's kind of the advice, if you will, that probably a lot of them have been getting from their friends, and probably a lot of the things that they've seen on Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, things like that over the last couple ever last 3, 4, 5 years. And so what happens is, I think psychologically, if you study the kind of the psychology of money, and then you look at manias, you look at things that are going on in the general economy and things like that, people can kind of get very caught up in the moment. They can get sucked into things in the moment. They just kind of go, they see what's popular and what's rolling with that. And wealth building and wealth creation is a thing that takes a long period of time. You have to build wealth over many years, and it's a very slow process. And again, I'm not trying to throw different types of stereotypes or maybe tropes out there about Gen Z or the millennials, but I just if there are some millennials or Gen Zs, or even younger bankers or financial service professionals that are watching this video right now, my my advice would basically be, you have to be patient. You have to be very patient. I know right now at the moment things don't look great, but things will change. Things will get better. And you have to be, again, you have to have some patience, and you have to have a little faith that things will work out okay at the end of the day. But you also got to go to people that know what they're talking about. And again, I can understand you not having maybe faith as most part in the big banks, but I can also tell you that your smaller banks are very different than your local community bank is very different than, say, Wells Fargo or Bank of America or JP Morgan. And I would encourage people, particularly, if you've actually never met a banker, if you don't know a banker, go to your local community bank, go find the bank down the street from you, and go walk in the door, introduce yourself to the branch manager, and say, hey, I would love to meet I'd love to meet a commercial lender. And go talk to that person. Just, hey, buy them a cup of coffee one day and just talk to them and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to build wealth. I'm trying to do stuff. What are your thoughts? And I think you will find that a lot of the bankers that work at a lot of local banks are incredibly knowledgeable. They're incredibly knowledgeable about the local communities. They're incredibly knowledgeable about the local real estate scene. They're very well connected and networked individuals, so they can connect you with a lot of the right people. Like, maybe you don't have an accountant or an attorney or a financial advisor. Well, they can connect you with all these people. And that's a powerful thing. I mean, the power of networking is a valuable thing. I would also suggest that, finding some people in your life with some gray hair is a very good thing. Um, there is no, what's the old saying? There is no substitute for experience. There is none. You can read all the books you want. You can, go to all the seminars you want, everything else, but there just is no substitute for experience, for, lived real world life experience, and it's a very important thing that you go seek out people that have been around the block a few times, they know what they're talking about. And so again, I'm concerned by that. Like, I don't want this, the Gen Z, the millennial population, these generations. I don't want them to turn off the older generation, or get soured on banks and other things because of some bad experiences. Like, again, I'm not making light of that. I'm not making, I'm not giving them a pass or anything like that. I'm just saying that, don't do that. That's a big mistake. There's a lot of great people out there with a lot of valuable advice and life experience, and you can learn a lot from those people, and you need to go seek out those people. Again, there's nothing wrong with talking with your friends and running things by your friends. I mean, I've done that throughout my life, as I'm sure many other people have, but again, I read this article, and again, I found that whole concept of, oh, well, we're just going to talk to our friends because we don't trust banks, like that. Yeah. I just kind of, I think that's like I said, it just kind of bothered me. It just kind of, this article just kept sticking with me here for the last few days. And I just said, you know what, I really want to do an episode on this and just talk about this. And Again, even if I can reach, one person out there, I would just say, hey, again, you know, don't shy away from highly experienced people at good firms and good banks. Don't, and embrace those people. Do a lot of networking, go out, do a lot of homework, but also just, be patient. Sometimes things take time. We're in an economic cycle right now, where, hey, look, over the next couple of years, things will probably get a little wonkier. If I'm being perfectly honest, like I mean, we're kind of in, we're in a little bit of a storm right now, and I think things are going to continue to be kind of up and down and rocky here for the next few years. And wealth building and getting yourself on the right track financially is something, it takes a long time. You got to constantly work at it. You have to work on your level of financial literacy. You have to study things. Look at, like I would go back. I did an episode a few months ago on the personal financial statement. I would go back and look at that. I would start examining, your debts, make a budget, think about where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years, write your goals down, set goals aside, and basically say, hey, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to accomplish. And then go to work on how am I going to get there? Um, and again, you can't necessarily say just like, forget about the economy or shut the economy out, but yeah, in a certain way, like, yeah, I want you to just kind of block that stuff out and just focus in on what you need to do and what you need to accomplish. Because wealth building, a lot of times, I think it comes back to your habits, not necessarily how much money you're making, but your habits. In other words, are you living beyond your means? Are you a saver as opposed to a spender? If you can live below your means, and if you're a saver, over time, you're going to build yourself good money. And then it just becomes a matter of, if you're a saver, okay, you've got you're compiling money. Now, what are you doing with that? Are you putting in to smart investments? Are you putting it into investments that are going to generate a return for you? In other words, like, again, like, you might buy stocks. Well, maybe a better thing to do would buy dividend paying stocks. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. If you want to look at different investment types, you should definitely go seek out a financial advisor. But again, just things to think about as you're going through this. And again, I hope that my message to, Gen Z and millennials out there is a positive one, because I want it to be a positive one. And just, don't, again, just the message here is like, don't shut off good people. Just, go out, search out those people, network those people, use people that have age and experience to your benefit. Don't be dismissive of those people just because of some things that may have happened in the past. Again, there's a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of people that be perfectly willing to help you out and kind of help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve in life. You just got to figure out what that is. But so that's just kind of the message today. So again, if you want to go check out this article, I would highly, hey, go check it out. But I would really be curious as to people's thoughts. So if you have some thoughts on this, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to respond to that. And if you like this video today, please make sure to like and give a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. That always helps the channel. Go check out thebankernextdoor.com. You can find The Banker Next Door on all major podcast platforms. We're also on YouTube and Rumble. And so I got some other videos and other things coming up. If you haven't checked out the crypto series, that's through 4 episodes right now. I probably have the next 2 installments, hopefully coming out on that next week. Beginning a banking update, some other things coming down the road, some more interviews coming up shortly. So a lot of good things to look forward to. A lot of great things coming out here over the next couple of months. And like I said, but please make sure to like and subscribe. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week. And I'll be back to you guys next week with some more episodes. So thanks a lot. And I'll end this with go Eagles. Go Eagles. Thanks a lot.